gate. The way that the bonuses went tonight, there is no fight of the night. We gave 2 knockout bonuses, one to Nelson and one to Hardy. We gave 2 submission bonuses, one to Santos and one to Struve. They won $70,000 each. So congratulations. Who's first?
Hey, Dana.
Hey, buddy.
Congratulations. It was a good card tonight. First of all, you have so many good fighters stacked up in one division. This was kind of a clever gimmick to have all the heavyweights fight on one card. I wonder what you think of sometime down the future doing it with lightweights or some other division, just putting 5 fights and having them all fight on the same card. Did you
Things
like
don't always go my way, you don't always... the main event wasn't originally the main event. You never know what's going to happen. So, it would be fun to say that we could do a heavyweight card, every once in a while lightweight, middleweight, whatever, but it doesn't always work out that way. This thing just kind of happened.
And what was your reaction? I mean, it seemed like, you had a ton of finishes tonight. I mean, a lot of good performances. I mean, your last 3 fights, really, I mean, the whole main card was really good, but I mean, the last 3 fights were really conclusive. I mean, do you look at this and say that it, kind of gave you a shot in the arm?
It was a great night. All the fights were great. Well, almost all the fights were great. And on paper, this card looked awesome, and it lived up to the hype.
And I know you don't like to talk about future fights, but I mean, obviously you had Kane win in unbelievable fashion tonight, and Junior, looked very good. I mean, it's hard to see who's going to beat Junior other than maybe Kane. Now, what do you think about making that fight again, and do you see that, as the most likely next fight?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I like it.
Okay, so let's start talking time frame.
That I don't know, but yeah, we like that fight. Kane went undefeated for a long time, lost to Junior. He defends the title, he wins. I like the fight. We'll see what happens.
Question for Roy, right in front, Roy. First of all, I don't know what your comment about the Carl's Jr. there, was it a sponsorship bid, or what were you doing?
No, I'm just hungry.
So that was an impressive right hand, but I don't think that's exactly kind of what Jeff Mayweather was probably teaching you, was he?
That was exactly what he was teaching. My plan was to actually grapple and just take it a little bit slow. I got 15 minutes to work, and I saw a push jab, and then I was like, oh, I can come right over the top, and then I threw, I think, 3 punches, landed 2 of them. One was up here, and one was down there.
Just one, and also you being one of the few guys, maybe the only guy I can't remember that went a long time with Junior. What is it like being in there with him? And it seemed like a lot of people talked about he had speed and punching accuracy, but you didn't hear a lot of people talking about his power. But I think maybe tonight after what they said, his power would come into play. What do you take? You've been in there with him, and you know what Frank was up against tonight.
I think when everybody asked me, who's going to win that fight, I said JDS hands down. I think it's. The way I look at it is there's only one guy that's actually, gave, Junior a run for his money where, he was afraid to get hit, and that was with me. But, I'm up for whatever, so who cares?
What was your take, by the way, on that question? Junior seemed like a lot of people said he had great speed, great technical boxing, but you never heard a lot of people talking about his power, but it seemed like he was really,
He does, though. He has power. I think he's knocked everybody out but Roy.
And he was really hurting Frank with those shots tonight. It didn't seem like he was throwing, like Roy did.
No, he's got power, speed, good takedown defense. He's got it. Right here? Yeah?
I was curious if you would entertain the idea of giving Kane Velasquez another shot at the belt.
I did. Yeah, I just said it. Yep. I hear you.
Dana, that was kind of the non-committal committal, though. Can we get a firm answer that is the next fight?
I like that fight. I like that fight. Yeah, I mean, Kane deserves the next fight. I mean, come on, you guys want me to lay out the venue, the time?
That'd be great if you don't mind.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Well, Kane, let's talk about that. On the idea that it looks like this is probably going to be the next fight for you. How does that make you feel? Talk about the performance tonight and how it feels to know that it looks like you're going to get another title shot next.
It
feels great, I mean, the whole reason why I got into the sport is to be the champ, and I just don't feel right now, with not having that, and so.
Obviously, a great performance tonight. What was the key to it? First of all, were you shocked that the kick came in early and you were able to get the fight to the ground so quick? What was the key overall?
No, with him fighting Daniel and And Mike Howe, he's kicked early a couple times, and we just said, if he does kick it right away, then I'll obviously catch it, take him down, and that's what he did. He kicked, and yeah, that's what we did.
And a lot of people said that going into the last fight, it wasn't really you. There was an injury. They don't think that was the real fight, that you would put out there. Is there anything to that? I know you don't like to make excuses, but, how do you see a second fight going?
Definitely much better on my part.
And if I could ask one of Frank now, Chair. Obviously, Frank, thank you for stopping by. Obviously, a tough fight for you tonight. Can you talk about how the fight played out versus your expectations? And obviously, you looked for the takedown very early, but then really didn't go for it again after that. Was it just because of the difficulty, or how did things play out for you?
No, I wanted to get the takedown early. I thought that it would catch him by surprise. When it didn't work, I thought I would have to go ahead and just try to, he defended it so well that I just wanted to wait a little bit longer in the fight, see if I could get him to forget about it. I didn't want it to be fresh on his mind. His footwork was awesome. That's the thing I think I had the hardest time with. Most guys my size don't bounce in and out like that. And so even though I sparred with smaller guys, Hardy and stuff, to simulate the hand speed, I guess I should have had them jumping in and out more to try to simulate that aspect of it. But it was something that James or Giffey told me coming up to. Hey, he's probably going to not be the in-your-face fighter we thought he was going to be. He's probably going to throw a punch, jump back out, and just use his foot speed. Knowing what to do and then being able to do it are two different things, though.
Fair enough. And I got to just ask one question of the champ as well. Junior, obviously, congratulations on your win tonight. Can you talk about how the fight played out versus your expectations? You actually called yesterday that it was going to be a knockout in the second round. It seemed that you were very, very patient. What was the game plan, and how did it play out versus your expectations?
Well, my game plan is always to keep fighting on my feet, and looking for the knockout. And Frank MIR is a very dangerous fighter, especially when he takes you down. And he tried to do that, and I tried to make him a little bit more tired in the first round, and I came to the second round to knock him out. That was my strategy, and that works. Thank God for that.
All right. Dana, a lot's been made of Dan Hardy's run. Had a tough time in those last few fights. Tell us, kind of why you stuck with him, and even tonight, you tweeted, after his victory, kind of what you thought of his performance tonight.
Yeah, he looked good. He went in against a guy. We knew what was going to happen in this fight. These guys were both going to stand, and they were going to bang, and he won. He looked great. Dan Hardy is one of those guys that brings it. We like guys who fight, and this kid fights. He's excited about fighting. He's a fun guy, and he's a fun fighter. We like him. So.
And Stephan, if I could ask you, you were prepared for Mark Hunt, and just last week the injury took him out of the fight. Tell us kind of how your game plan changed when you got LeVar Johnson.
Well, they're both heavy-end strikers, so there wasn't an awful lot to change. I knew that, the moment I would get him to the ground, the fight would be pretty much over. So we made a couple small changes to the game plan, and we knew there was two things you could do: let me come at him and just try to counter with wild haymakers, or come at me like he did and try to do the same thing he did the last two fights. So he did it, and when I got a hold of the arm, I just came up in my head that the way I was holding it, and I trained it actually a couple of weeks ago, the flying arm bar. I wanted to jump straight into it, but got a little later. So.
Marcus Cormier with the MMA Net and Studio MMA. First question for you, Dan. Was the game plan to stand and bang with Dwayne Ludwig, or was it just so you caught him and then that was it, or was there a backup plan there?
To be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't get to show the rest of my game tonight. I've been working real hard on rounding out my game and being dangerous everywhere it goes. So I knew that Dwayne was a kickboxer, and I know that he was going to come in and try and use that ability. So I found a few things in his game that I thought I could exploit. One of them being his counter right hand, which I pulled with the fake. I threw a fake and got him to bring that away from his chin a little bit, and then crept a left hook around the side, and it landed tonight. If it hadn't have done, I might have worked for something else, and I had a lot of tools in the bag that I wanted to try out, and unfortunately the left hook stole the show again.
And for Kane, one, did you get a chance to see the main event, and if so, if you have any comments on what you saw?
Yeah, the Santos look, he looked good. His hands are always good. His movement, in and out, being quick, taking on defense is good. I mean, this is always how he looks.
And lastly, for Junior, you predicted a second round knockout. One, was it really something that you thought was going to happen, or was it, and if so, if it was something in his game that you saw that would make that prediction?
No, that was my strategy for the fight. That what I was thinking for the fight. I thought he came for the fight to take me down. And in the first round I was trying to keep my distance. And make him tired, like I said. And the second round, my plan was to walk a little bit more forward than the first. And I don't know, that works, and I think when you believe so much in your performance, in yourself, things happen. That's why I'm so positive in what I think.
My first question is for Dana. Dana, did you ever seen or heard so many Brazilians here in Vegas? What you think about this? To me, sometimes sounds like UFC in Rio.
Yeah, no, it seemed like there were a lot of Brazilians. There were a lot of Mexicans here tonight. It was a great card, a great crowd tonight. A lot of energy. Hardy got a huge pop. Big Country got a huge pop. I mean, the people were going crazy tonight. It was a really good crowd.
And what after this, what do you expect for Anderson against Sonny?
What do I expect for what?
Anderson against Sonny. After this cheer, Brazilian guys, what do you expect for Anderson against Sonny here?
How do I think it's going to be?
Yes.
I think it's going to be crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of Brazilians that will travel for that fight, and I think that that's going to be a good one.
And just one little question in Portuguese for Cigano. Cigano, na mesma linha, você se surpreendeu com a quantidade de brasileiros? Você conseguiu ouvir ali de dentro do octógono a vibração dos brasileiros e o quanto isso te ajudou nessa luta?
Say what you said first, and then.
Okay, I asked to him if he was surprised with so many Brazilians and if he can hurt the Brazilian guys cheering for him.
Me surpreendeu bastante, sim, a quantidade de brasileiro que estava aqui me fez muito feliz também ver muitas bandeiras brasileiras no meio da galera toda lá, então foi muito importante para mim, me fez feliz que o pessoal veio para me assistir, muitos falaram que vieram só para minha luta, então fiquei muito feliz por isso.
Yeah, it was fantastic for me to see. Seeing all of the Brazilian flags and all of the Brazilian people in the crowd made me so proud and so energized. And every time I looked up, and I could definitely hear them, I could see the flags. And I've been running into a lot of people this week in the hotel who said, they came here specifically to watch me fight, and they were cheering for me, and they'd stop me in the hallways and wish me luck. So it was just such a really great positive vibe, and I'm very proud to be here representing everybody from Brazil. And then I thank them for their support.
Mr. White, with Dan Hardy's victory, does that punch his ticket to be a coach for the Ultimate Fighter to smash us?
No.
Thank you.
Dana in the back over here. A lot of people very surprised to see Brock Lesnar. He wasn't a guy who would come to fights when he was a member of the UFC.
You got that right?
What was he doing here?
Yeah. I don't know. Apparently now he's a big fan.
Is there anything more to that?
Yeah.
Anything that you'd like to share?
No. He was here. I mean, I think that says it all.
Is there a chance that he may come back?
Possibly, yeah.
So you've talked to him about this?
No.
No. You're just hoping that he'll come back?
When I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. And for Junior, obviously there was supposed to be a very big stadium show. It didn't work out because of the UN conference. Do you think that you're at a point now with your popularity, based on the fans that came all the way here and what you see back home, that maybe you and Kane can headline a stadium show in Brazil?
Yeah, for sure. It's I think that can happen in Brazil. We make our fight in a stadium, and for sure the Brazilian people is gonna make the stadium full to watch our fight. And I don't know who UFC wants to put for my next opponent, but I think it's gonna be Velasquez.
And just one last one again for Dana. 2 great British wins on this card, and there are a lot of rumors about a return to the UK. and maybe in Dan's hometown. Is there anything that is confirmed just yet for the return?
Yeah, no, that is happening, and yeah, Dan will probably be on that card.
Paul as
Yep,
well? Yeah.
possibly.
Thank you.
This is a question for Roy. Roy, concerning your overhand right, I mean, that is a really, really great tool considering you're a smaller heavyweight. Is that something that you've been just training for over the years to really make that adjustment, or has that just been one of your favorite punches throughout your entire career?
No, it's just I think it just worked out. Like today was just like my plan was actually to go and submit Dave. That was my goal, and then he just threw a push jab, and then after that I was like, oh, I can just throw it over the top and follow it right in, and that's what I did, and then I didn't have to throw any more punches after that.
And this one's for Jamie, which, I mean, you really had the real moment, in my opinion, of the night. And at what point did you really feel like? At what point did you really feel like this fight had now turned from an underdog story to the fact that you had turned the tide and really knew that you had this fight in the bag?
When Steve Mascotti stepped in. Junior, well, not Junior, sorry. Your name, not a chance. No. Edson is so tough and dynamic, and I knew if I let up, even for a second, I mean, a kick, a punch could end the night for me. So when the ref stepped in, obviously I knew it was over, but there was one point I hit him with the right hand, I saw his eyes roll back. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's really hurt. So I just stayed on him and went in for the kill. It was surreal. I saw this fight ending so many ways, but I didn't see me knocking him out in the first round. That was definitely not something that I could even envision. I thought I was playing for a 15-minute war and having my after party in the hospital because I was so beat up with this guy. So it was a great fight, and it's just a great opportunity. You know, I'm so glad to be back.
Question for Junior over here. No UFC heavyweight has ever defended their title 3 times. Do you feel that you could be the man to do that?
Yeah, I feel like that, you know. I'm here to stay. I think like that. That's why I'm working so hard on my career, you know. I take that everything very serious, you know, and like I used to say, I'm very positive. I'm confident, and I'm here to stay.
Junior, Dana just said that he likes the fight with you and Kane. Talk about the rematch and how you think that'll go.
I don't know, man. Kane Velasquez is really tough, you know. In my mind, he's very different in this division. You know, he's fast. He's very fast, and his stamina is really good, you know, for our division. So for sure, he's dangerous and a good fighter, but I don't care about who's gonna be my opponent. You know, wherever UFC wants to put me against, to fight against me, I'll be watching his fights, you know, and making my strategy to beat him, you know. And if I have to fight with Kane Velasquez again, let's do it. I will be ready for that.
And then over to Kane. Kane, could you talk about the rematch and what you would need to do differently in the second time around?
Yeah, just I think bring more of the fight to him than what I did before. You know, I stood too long on the outside where he's dangerous. You know, he has those fast, heavy hands, good footwork, and just take more of the fight to him.
Thank you. Quickly to Dana. Dana, a lot of press about the heavyweights and everything. You know, this wasn't the strongest division in the UFC just maybe a year ago. Talk about how the heavyweights have really grown.
Well, I think it's been more than a year, but yeah, I agree. You know, the heavyweight division was lacking in our early days, and it's not now. It's flourishing. A lot of good talent, a lot of up-and-coming talent, and I think, you know, the bigger the sport gets, like I've been saying, the bigger, the more money, the et cetera, you're going to see bigger, athletic guys that would have played other sports getting into mixed martial arts. Like I always say, hitting home runs and kicking soccer balls and all that shit's fun, but everybody wants to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Dana, if we can follow up on Jamie's performance to your left over here. most of us here in the media room, when that fight was going on, basically gasped. I mean, other than Jamie, I think he knows this, that many people gave Edson that fight before that even took place. But as it went down, he was landing those body shots and overhand rights and finished it off. I mean, what were you guys thinking when that fight was going on?
No, he looked awesome. You know, I don't think we were as shocked as other people were. I mean, this is a former world champion, and this guy's got an awesome record. He's a real fighter, and you know, he held the title. So, yeah, I'm not shocked by it at all. You know, we have a lot of respect for Jamie, and that's why he was in that fight.
Frank, over to your left side. Just, you know, we talked before the fight. You said you were at peace, win or lose. Just talk about kind of your mindset right now, having, you know, things not gone your way.
I mean, I think obviously everybody's happier when they win, but you know, I trained really hard for the fight. I gave my best effort. That appeases a lot in me, you know. The fact that, you know, it wasn't a quick fight as far as, you know, you got caught in the first shot and dropped. I think that is more discouraging when people go home. You know, I took a couple shots from him, and I was never able to turn it around and make it to where I was able to get the fight to the ground or land any significant shots on him. So, you know, I did what I could on tonight, and he beat me. He was a better man. Go back again and try over, you know.
And Dana, you know, a lot of people, a lot of fans out there concerned or curious and concerned how you're feeling. Just talk about the last couple of weeks and what you've been through and how you're feeling tonight.
I'm great. Now I feel like $1 million, and you know, it's been a rough month. There's been a lot of crazy shit going on, and you know, I'm good though. It's all good. It's all part of the deal in this business. It's a crazy business.
Dana, here. Rede Globo in Brazil was supposed to air the show, the Santos fight live. The main card was so fast, I guess the schedule didn't work that way. They had to videotape that 10 or 20 minutes later. What do you think about that? There was an obligation for them to show it live.
I don't understand the question. Are you saying that they taped it and showed it 10 or 15 minutes later?
Yeah.
I can live with that. I can live with that. That's not the end of the world.
And did you know about that, Cigano? You were always on Twitter and stuff. What do you think about that? People were expecting to see you live, and they knew the result before they saw you fighting.
I think people will be glad to have the opportunity to watch the fight, you know, because many people there in Brazil, they don't have a way to buy the pay-per-view right there, you know, in the Combat channel. But I think if it's going to be in Global, they can wait for a little bit to watch the fight, especially my city, Caçador. They for sure will be glad to be watching the fight in the free TV, open TV.
Yeah, like you said, we're very lucky to have the opportunity to have this. I mean, look at England. You know, we've been working on England since 2002, and we still can't get it done over there. So I don't care if it's 10 or 15 minutes later. That's pretty damn good. It's better than nothing.
This question is actually for Frank. Frank, over here by the podium. How's it going? What was most difficult fighting Junior tonight?
His footwork. He basically got to depict when the fight took place. You know, he got to jump in, throw punches, and then before I had to retaliate, he would jump back out. And then when I moved forward and tried to throw punches at him, he just was never there. The few punches I think I got to land was basically just trying to time it when he was coming in. And, you know, he's faster, so that was not going to be a long-term successful technique for me. So he got to decide when to fight and when not to fight. His footwork was superior to mine as far as how fast he could move in and out. That was the hardest thing to deal with. I've dealt with guys with fast hands before, you know, especially like I said in training. The fast footwork in and out was actually what threw me the worst.
At the end of the, go ahead. Sorry. At the end of the first round, what was going on through your mind?
I just focused the task at hand. The first round, like, okay, it's over with. You know, I think the thing in my brain I marked off, okay, I lost the first round. 4 more to go. You know, I got to win at least 3 of them, or try to get a finish. So I sat there and realized, okay, the first takedown didn't work. When am I going to shoot in? I was just trying to visualize what was going on and when to angle a shot on him. But you know, I was really worried about the uppercut. I seen what it did to Verdum and a couple other guys. So I didn't want to blindly just take a shot on him. I wanted to try to catch him off of a combination. But if you notice, never one time did I throw 1 or 2 punches and he was still there for me to actually change levels and shoot. Every time I did land, he was out of there.
And this one's actually for Junior. Junior, how would you rank Frank amongst the other fighters you fought in your career?
Well, he was a good fight for me. He really can take a punch, you know. My hand, I feeling some pain on my hand, you know, now. And but was it was a good fight, you know. It was a good fight. But every fight that I have, I got more experience, you know, and I came for this fight with more confident, you know, to use my speed and to use my boxing skills to try to win, you know. But I don't know how can I rank him, but he was tough.
Did you feel that you were in control of the fight right away, or was there a certain point where you felt that you had control?
After the first 2 minutes, I was feeling a little bit better than the start of the fight.
Just one question to Dana on your left here. With Arizonans Kane, CB Dallway, and Jamie Barner getting wins tonight, and with a lot of major training camps going on in the Phoenix area and with a huge MMA fan base over there, what are the chances of a card in Phoenix coming over there? What are the chances like of it happening?
Possibly, you know, do a fight night over there maybe or something. But with Las Vegas being so close, you know what I mean? This is a place, unfortunately, that people want to hang out, you know? No knock on Arizona, but, you know, I'm not saying we couldn't do a fight night there, though.
Question for Frank, straight in front of you, Frank. In the first round, when Junior hit you with the body shot, I mean, that seemed like it really made a big difference on you. You know, you kind of, you know, went back to the cage at that point. Was that a really good shot, or was it just a particular spot where it hit you?
No, I was actually scared of what was going to come after it. I thought he was going to go down low, and if I lowered my hands, he was going to come up top of the hook. And so seeing a couple highlight reels of that kind of flashed in my mind real quick. So I realized that if I couldn't hit him when he basically the game plan was if he threw a right hand, I was going to try to throw a straight left over the top. But superior speed, all I could basically try at that point was like, I'll take it in the stomach. I'm not putting my hands down.
And then in between rounds, I mean, a lot of people on the internet were talking about this. Obviously, I couldn't hear it, but apparently your corner said, "Where are you?" and you said Mandalay Bay. Were you really buzzed, or was it just, you know, hey, I'm in Vegas? And
no, that's like asking somebody, you know, what's the date? And I had to think about it for a second. You know, I was a little busy, preoccupied at the time. I fight Mandalay Bay a lot too. So sorry, no offense to MGM, but at that moment, you know, my blood was pounding. You know, I wasn't so much as out of it. I think I got the date right. So that was the hard part, right?
There you go. Well, congrats. Dana, you know, obviously, you know, you alluded to Brock a little bit before. That would be a good thing, I guess. You know, he's not doing much on pay-per-view and wrestling, it sounds like, so, you know, he maybe help you out. What about Overeem, another guy that, you know, your heavyweight division was looking really, really stacked when he was in the division. You know, I saw you alluded the other day that maybe, you know, you weren't too interested in him. You referenced Ask Lorenzo. What's your stance toward him?
You know how I am. Of all people, you know I am. You know, he lied to me. You know, it's just like, you know, we sat in front of us, lied to us. I'm not interested. I don't have to deal with people that I don't want to deal with, and I don't want to deal with them. Lorenzo will.
So I mean, but to clarify, then Lorenzo will deal with him means he will fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
So that gives you another guy.
So I set my answer to the question was, if you have any Overeem questions, ask Lorenzo.
Okay. So just ask you one question anyways about that then. How do you deal with that? I mean, and where do you give him a chance if obviously he was going to fight for the title tonight, had he not done what he did?
Well, he went before the athletic commission and he got his punishment, and he's going to serve his sentence now, and when he comes back he has to apply for a license again, and then we'll go from there.
Do you put him where he was? Does he regain his standing? Like, would he be, when he's back?
Yeah, I mean, I think he should, yeah.
Question for Dan Hardy. Dan, you know, you obviously got a great ovation tonight, and I know in Nottingham tonight, Carl Froch got a big ovation. I was wondering if that was on your mind at all. You know, you come out right after Froch, you know, has a really big win in Nottingham, and you come out. Was there any motivation? Were you aware of what happened there?
You know, I wasn't. I was aware he was fighting. Obviously, he's a friend of mine, and I wished him all the best. But I was too focused on my fight to really pay attention to his. I'll watch it tomorrow. But I was real happy to hear he won. He deserves it. He's a very underrated guy. Works hard, and it was a good night for Nottingham.
No doubt. And one last question for Junior. obviously winning the title over Kane was a spectacular win. Kane's a great fighter, and that was a great win for you. But I wonder if, given the fact that you beat Frank in a more comprehensive fashion, the fight went a longer way. Do you rate this as a better win, given another elite fighter, and it was a longer time, and you beat him down the way you did?
Júnior, óbvio que a sua vitória sobre o Kane Velasquez foi uma coisa espetacular com aquele soco que você deu e evidente que foi uma luta, uma tremenda luta, mas essa luta contra o Frank Mir foi por mais tempo, durou mais tempo a luta. Parece que foi uma luta mais completa, você teve mais chance de mostrar mais golpes. Você, por decorrência disso, diria que essa luta, essa vitória foi uma vitória melhor para você?
Yeah, this victory was very important, for me. It was a huge victory, for my career. But what happens in my fight with Velasquez was perfect for me. I was feeling my knee in that time, and for me, wow, that was perfect the way how the fight ended, So. Every fight is very important for me, and my next fight now is going to be more important than all of the others.
Take two more questions.
Here. This is for the Sassingo over there. Yeah, Paul. Hey, you're on this winning streak. You continue to look fantastic. You're finishing guys. Yet you haven't really gotten the spotlight yet. You're on the Facebook fights this time. Do you think it's time that you're on the pay-per-views, that you're on TV getting that spotlight as well?
I don't mind whatever the UFC say. I just come to fight and try and do a good performance and win triangle if I can.
And which, by the way, I was in my dressing room before the fight. When he won, I walked out all the way across the arena over to the other side to go talk to him. Beating a guy like Volkman the way he did, that was a very impressive fight. He looked very good tonight. And I called him. I said, this kid looks like a one-trick pony, but that one trick he's got is really good. Tonight, going out and beating a guy like Volkman, tonight was a big win for him. And I think not only, the credibility from us, but from the fans and everybody else, even though none of you asked him a question tonight. I respect very much what he did tonight, and he knows that. I went and told him as soon as that fight was over. He's a tough kid that he beat tonight.
So you would agree that it's time for him to step up?
I would agree, yes. Tonight was his coming out party, for sure.
And just one more question for you, Paul. When you got this matchup, and when you look at your matchups, is that the first thing you think about? You have a wrestler, he's going to take you down, you're going to end up on your back probably. That's a good spot for you, unlike other people. Is that what you think about to continue this streak of the Sassingo?
I wanted to show more of me stand-up in this fight, but when I did see the opportunity to pull guards, I just went to where I'm good at and went for submission after submission, which is my favourite bit, and the triangle. I don't know if the armbar was the finish to the fight, but triangle armbar, still triangle in there.
Oh, hi.
One more question. Who's next?
Hi, me. Over here.
Okay.
My question's for Dana. Dana, we had Junior doing the main event tonight. Next 3 events, we're going to have Brazilians doing the main event. 2 title shots and Vitor against Vanderlei. Is this just a coincidence? And how big is the Brazilian market for the UFC nowadays?
It's huge. And I've said this a million times. Not only is it's beyond comprehension how fast and how big it's getting down there. It's insane. And not only, as far as the fan base and the people that are watching and what's going on in Brazil, but the talent has always been that way. It's been that way for almost 20 years now. A lot of top talent has come out of Brazil, and now with the Ultimate Fighter down there and us, cultivating that market the way that we are, you're going to see a lot of Brazilians in main events, co-main events,
so it's not a
undercards.
Right?
No, this is going to be a continuing trend. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Oh, yeah. All right, brother. Yeah. You go, man. What do you got?
I flew 24 hours for this.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. First of all, it was great. Amazing. Thanks for having us. This was a heavyweight card, and I'm surprised nobody here talked about Daniel Cormier that looked fantastic against Josh Barnett. And you're the boss of Zuffa is obviously controlling Strikeforce. Don't you think it makes more sense to cancel his last fight over there bring him over here, and how do you think he's feeling? I actually heard him today on a really cool radio show, and he is so funny, and he has a great personality. You know, it didn't come out so far in his Strikeforce fights, but he can be a big star.
I agree.
think.
I agree with everything you're saying,
what do you do with
100%. And yes, he will end up coming over to the UFC. The thing is, I'd love to see the guy go to 205. You know, I think he's a small heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight over here, man.
Did you see how he handled Barnett?
I did. Yep. Yeah. No. Listen, I respect Josh Barnett. And
that's the thing, because of
he did work Barnett. Barnett fights like once a year. You know, I'm not taking anything away from Barnett, but it's a whole nother ball game over here. And these guys are big. And I'm not telling him, listen, the guy wants to stay at heavyweight. I'm not going to tell him where to go, but I think it would be a good move for him to go 205.
So you're not going to give him a title shot immediately here?
If he comes over and he wants to fight for the heavyweight championship, yes.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good